Welcome Leo, it's November 2019, Dadhichi here, and if you take a look at the horoscope, you may have a whole lot of plans this month, but it's quite clear from this stacked fourth house, and also take a look at Mercury here, the finance planet ruling your second and 11th house, going into retrograde motion on the second of the month, while Venus moves to the fifth house, is showing a strong focus on reevaluating how your money is spent at home, on family. This could have a lot to do with budgeting. Where's your money going, I guess, is the question. When the planet is retrograde, and finance planet retrograde is not a bad thing. It can actually indicate an improvement, and through that reappraisal, finding where the holes in the bucket are, so to speak. Venus in the fifth house gives you that creative ability to break through into some new ground. Venus for you, of course, rules the 10th house of career, where Uranus now is currently shaking things up for you. We talked about that last month. But this connection to career and creativity, finance and family life, you have to look at when the moon, for example, here is challenging these planets, or as it does here around the 7th and 8th, creates a nice favourable aspect from this 8th house, by the way, which is banking, finance. So it could be that you may need to acquire some money, borrow some money. The 8th house has to do with your bank manager. But in any case, I really like this increasing lucky aspect of Venus and Jupiter here in the fifth house of creativity. By the way, the fifth house has to do with love, romance, affairs of the heart. And so here we see the strength and dominance of this part of the horoscope. You'll note also around the 12th, when the moon moves into its full moon phase, here in the company of Uranus, some sorts of sudden or abrupt influences in your work may take place. That's going to be a seesaw effect here. It really dichotomizes the chart between this mercurial finance issue in your domestic sphere and the workplace activities, the creativity that we see here in your fifth house. Then I think this love affair thing that I'm talking about, or at least an enhancement of your existing romance, if you're in a relationship, takes place here when Venus and Jupiter are aspected by the moon here from your 11th house of social activities, networking, friendships, and so on and so forth. That moon, as you see, is waning. It's getting darker now after the full moon phase around the 16th, moving into the 12th house, which is the low-key part of the horoscope. And here there can be some worry. Of course, we've been talking about the retrograde Mercury and the effect of the costs, maybe a cost blowout. 12th house is also expense. So I'd say around 16, 17, 18, you're going to be really spending quite a bit of money, so you need to keep a check on that. Saturn will help that through its concentrative power and the transformative influence of Pluto. I discussed that quite a bit last month. I'll stick with these planets here. We can see that there's a lot still happening in this lower part of the horoscope there on the 19th, with Mars, probably your best planet, moving into this fourth house, and then the moon moving into the finance sector on the 20th. So here we have the stationary Mercury on the 21st. It means that that retrograde period finishes. The planet apparently sits stationary as it starts to make its move forward. And that's happened coincidentally with your lucky planet Mars moving into this sector. I'd say that around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, there'll be some forward motion on these issues. And more importantly, when you see the moon moving into this area, as you will in a moment, triggering Mars and Mercury. That creative area of your horoscope is amplified by the power of your ruling planet. We see the shift of your ruler, the sun, into this fifth house. And there's that extremely lucky convergence of energy, Venus and Jupiter there on the 24th and 25th. You'll feel that energy before that date, but that is extremely fortunate for you. Those of you that are single, you may have more offers that you can deal with. And the reason I say that this is, I'm getting annoyed by that thing, I'm going to have to turn it off in a minute. The new moon taking place here around the 27th in this same area, the 5th house of romance and love affairs. So this is all pointing to some exceptionally good romantic issues. The financial issues at home, which were shown by this retrograde Mercury, clear up around that point. And there is a simultaneous transit of Venus into your 6th house. So that's a strong link between the prestige planet, the reputation planet, Venus. That's your professional planet here in the 6th house of workplace activities. Look at the stacked energy there on the last day of the month, showing us that the end of the month might be a bit overwhelming in terms of your schedule. So try to plan well and try not to get too bogged down in the retrogression. When the planets are retrograde, sometimes you can get caught in this circular sort of motion, sitting on a spinning wheel and not being able to come to the decision that you want. Often those decisions, the problems that we have, are sorted out without our even intervening in that. It's not to say that you don't deal with those problems, but don't kill yourself in the process. I hope that's helped. Next month I'll be back. In the meantime, take a look at what else I've got to say for the month of November for you, Leo. There's more there. We've also uploaded the 2020 horoscopes. They are now available for you. 3,000 words on what's coming, so you can contextualize what I've said here with where you're going over the next 12, 14 months. Drop me a line if you want. By all means, book for a reading if you'd like a more detailed analysis. That's done on a one-on-one. And I'll see you here next month. Bye-bye.